This is Dr. David Shine, and welcome to Business Law 101.
Now, here's something I want you to know about the Kohlberg model and why there is a debate about it. Kohlberg did his study in the late 1950s and early 60s based on white male college students. His study was composed exclusively of white male college students. And so his 6 levels of development are based on a very specific account. And you might say today, think about just our call tonight. Who's on our call tonight? Think about the diversity of who's on our call tonight. Think about the diversity on our campus. Think about the diversity in our community. I saw the statistics. I watch the news when I work out in the morning, and here are the statistics on HISD, the 8th largest school system in the entire country. 62% Hispanic, 22% Black, 8% white, 4.5% Asian. Do we live in diverse times? Do we live in a diverse community? So if you're using an ethical study that studied something that may have been representative of college students at an elite college 50 years ago, what's interesting is in response to Kohlberg's writing, and again, Carol Gilligan was working on her PhD, and she looks at Kohlberg's deal and she says, you know what? This is not a very representative sample of how you should decide on ethical theory. So Carol Gilligan, who's, again, this is for her dissertation, her PhD for psychology, she comes up with a study that looks at women. And she says, morality centers not on rights and rules. Men tend to be very rule-oriented, where women look more at the compassion and care of looking at each individual person. And the idea is that justice is not impersonal, and that morality is more related to the overall situation rather than hypothetical situation. If some of you are interested, the book is called In a Different Voice, Psychological Theory in Women's Development, published by Harvard in 1982. If you go on to get a PhD, one of the tips that I'm giving you here is this book. There's 2 ways to do your doctorate or even a master's thesis. One is quantitative, which is usually shorter. My dissertation, by the way, was quantitative. We did a survey, we counted up the numbers. But there's a longer, more tedious format called qualitative. And Carol Gilligan's book, this book right here, is considered one of the best known models of how to do a qualitative study. What this takes is, this is hours and hours and hours of structured interviews, then taking those interviews and analyzing them and putting them together, and looking at commonalities across the interviews that she did. And it's really, it's an easy read. First of all, I've read the book, of course, but it also is, it's very nicely structured, but it is a great example of a qualitative doctorate study, and that's exactly what it is. But anyway, it's kind of interesting stuff. So again, comparing a study of just men with a study of women and comparing different orientations. So, not one or the other is right or not right. It just points out that there are certainly some contextual issues, as it suggests.
This is Dr. David D. Shine for Business Law 101. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe on your favorite platform.